Yes, it is another morning. 0800 hours again, and I have not slept since sometime yesterday again. And I'm about to go to bed, I promise. I was adding a calendar function to twilightcurtain.com uh, because my husband and I, we really want to go to a conference or a UFO conference or the Super Soldier Summit or something like that. But we always hear about the really cool ones after they're over. And although we don't really have the funds to go now, it would be nice to know about things coming up so we can try to save and plan. And I looked around and I have not found a online calendar listing things anywhere. I've looked and looked. And I thought, well, one way to find out about an upcoming conference, because I needed something to test the calendar with, would be to find someone and see if they're going to make an appearance. So I went to the website of Melinda Leslie, who is a MILAB researcher. Um, and I found this list of questions, which is like the thing, all the places like, answer these questions to determine if you might be an abductee. And here's her questions, and I mean, there's her questions, and it's indicators compiled by Melinda Leslie, and I thought it would be really funny to answer these questions. So, question 1. Have you seen aliens and military personnel together in the same environment? Was it in an underground base or in the aliens' environment like a ship? Yes and yes. 2. Have you been abducted by military personnel without any aliens being present? Yes. 3. Do you have members of your family? Oh no. Do you or members of your family have a connection to the space program or the aerospace industry? No. 4. Do you or have you ever lived near a military base or facility? Military family, pretty sure lived on it. 5. Have you ever had experiences with Men in Black? Yes. 6. Did the aliens instruct you in their technology or show you how it works? I.e., have you seen propulsion systems? I don't remember being instructed. I just kind of have this data in my head that surfaces once in a while. So I guess no, or maybe. Have you flown, navigated a ship, or worked the controls? Yes. 7. In relation to your abductions, have you had any forms of the following harassment? Black helicopters? No. Telephone interruptions, noises? No, although lately my husband and I have been having that because they apparently don't want me and my husband talking for whatever reason. Calls at odd hours of the night? No. Mail tampered with or missing? No. Being followed? Yes, but only because I got too close to the secret base that's near here that I'm not supposed to know about. Being outright approached? Yes, but that was a trap to fool me into accepting to get into a militia, and I'm pretty sure that had nothing to do with anything. Had run-ins or confrontations with military government types? Okay, please see earlier answers. Or been remote influence, thoughts not your own, to harm yourself or another. To harm myself or another? I've been remote influenced to forget what I was thinking about. 8. In relation to your abductions, have you had any forms of intimidation like verbal warnings? No. Threats to you or your family's life or safety? No. Physical abuse? No. Been beat up or roughed up? No. 9. Do you have psychic abilities? Well, yeah. 10. Have human doctors performed any medical procedures or surgery on you during an abduction? Not, well, there's that time I woke up with my tooth being fixed, so probably yes. 11. Have you ever seen military or medical human equipment? Military base? Yes. Just not, yes, while being abducted too. 12. Have you ever seen military vehicles or aircraft? Did you travel in any? I'm pretty sure she means on the abduction because the answer is yes, lived on military base. But, yeah. 13. Have you seen military weapons or alien weapons? Again. 14. Have you ever seen any of the following during your abduction? Elevators? Yes. Long gray hallways? Yes. Partitioned rooms? Yes. Tents or hazmat type tented environments? Kind of maybe. Or bright fluorescent light bulbs and light fixtures? Yes. 15. Have people ever interrogated you during your abduction? No. 16. Do you have any forms of the following: emotional trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, tremors, or involuntary shaking, or do you feel your body is running energy? Yes. 17. Do you have psychological problems currently? Is there any history of psychological problems for you or in your family? You just asked if I had PTSD. 18. Have you had dreams of military bases, military equipment, or military personnel? Yes, yes, and yes. But I'm pretty sure that I am not special enough to reach out to her because I have never been roughed up or threatened so over it. But that's kind of neat how I'm like, even with that, knowing when I know I am not 100%. I started this questionnaire thinking I was going to get all of them with a big fat yes, and it looked like it at first, and then we got to that one part, and the answer is no. So, kind of cool though. Yeah, you may want to check her out if you just I found it by Googling Melinda Leslie homepage. I have attended MUFON meetings. I have joined online groups, met people in private, reached out to just about every prominent researcher there is. And one thing I've noticed in the ufology community, as well as anybody dealing with MILABs and everything, is this need to turn the science into a religion. And you have two kinds of researchers in the field. You have the people who are researching and don't believe a damn thing, even whenever the science is up their nose, digging new holes, trying to open up their brain. And then you have the people who believe everything. And it's as if both are really confused about the scientific method. What is the scientific method? This is something that we all should be aware of, and it's actually a really good thing to have. It does not mean that you're completely stuck in the male side of your brain by using this process. It doesn't mean that you've completely lost your emotions or empathy or the ability to connect with the spiritual side of life. It just means that you're using the scientific method in order to ascertain facts. So the scientific method, okay, let me outline the scientific method. 1, ask a question. Do reptilians lay eggs or have live birth? 2, do background research. Okay, this is the part where you do things like talk to abductees if you happen to have an empirical a means of getting empirical evidence, such as, oh, I don't know, watching a reptilian give birth or lay an egg. Okay, do a little bit of research, and then based on your research, you're going to 3, construct a hypothesis. Please note, keyword here, hypothesis, not theory. Theory is later. We always go, well, my theory is. No, your hypothesis is. And I've been trying to break that habit in myself. So you construct a hypothesis. Reptilians possibly lay eggs. Okay, then you test your hypothesis, step 4, by conducting an experiment. Now, in the question that I have postulated here, I don't recommend you break into a reptilian hive and get into their nursery to see if there's eggs or live birth going on. But you do an experiment. When it comes to the social sciences, which a lot of ufology and stuff does seem to touch very hard on the social sciences, that's incredibly hard to do. So you would continue to gather evidence and you would compare and contrast. An experiment could be hypnotherapy for someone who claims to be really in deep with the reptilians. If you were a member of the Illuminati, it would be giving them a scopolamine drug cocktail so they would tell the truth and hope they aren't hallucinating in the process. And then step 5, analyze your data and draw a conclusion. So you've got all this data. All of these people are saying, well, I went to the nurseries and there were eggs there. So you're pretty sure that there's eggs there. So you draw your conclusion. And that's when it becomes a theory. My theory is reptilians lay eggs. Okay? That is a scientific method. Now, there's something that, I was taught this basic in high school. I'm sure most of us were. But there's one thing that I wasn't taught until I got to college that we always forget. You're not setting out to prove your hypothesis. This is the mistake everyone makes. And it's a bad mistake, because if you want to go out, let's say you decide that reptilians give live birth. So you decide you're going to prove this hypothesis. So you're digging for information, doing your best to prove that reptilians give live birth. You are emotionally vested in this decision, and your bias can and sometimes, actually most often, does take over, and you end up throwing out evidence that disproves it because it's not what you want to hear in some cases. No, you're supposed to disprove your own hypothesis. And that is why a lot of people that you feel are skeptical come out that way, because they're disproving your hypothesis. They're approaching it. Now, sometimes, admittedly, a lot of the skeptics I've come across are just total freaking wankers. But yes, it's kind of scary. All of the researchers and everything I've talked to and everything, they don't use this scientific method, and they just accept everything holistically, and they grab everything as evidence, and you have to test all of your evidence. And in order to reach a sound theory through disproving your hypothesis. So even the UFO community and the fringe science community is split into two camps. We've got the skeptic camps that are so busy disproving everything, they're not willing to look at any of the evidence to disprove their hypothesis that you're wrong. And then you have the other camp that is trying so hard to prove everything, they will not pay attention to the evidence that shows them that their hypothesis is wrong. And it's almost like it's basically split into two religions: the religion of you're wrong, and the religion of everything. Final note on this little comment on the matter is you should always consider Occam's razor, which is a really important scientific principle. Probably one of the few things I have remembered from my days learning in archaeology. What is the simplest answer is usually the right one. So you can tell me that this great rift opened in the sky and all of these aliens came through and this big drama happened, and that is why the tree in my front yard bent over, all you want. I'm going to check the weather. It does not mean, when you are this kind of careful in your search for the truth, that you are too male-minded. Okay, it does not mean that I am denying my feminine side. Trust me, I just went out and bought 4 pairs of shoes tonight. I am not denying my feminine side. They were on sale. Okay, what it means is the scientific method has a process. It was developed after years of scientists making mistakes, and making the mistakes that's happening in the ufology community a lot. And so this method was developed, and it is the method that has helped to make a lot of advances in science. And it is something that, if you are going to be a researcher or even just research your own life, it is something that you should know about and know how to do. Otherwise, you're going to end up lying to yourself. And oh, the stories I could tell you about how I lied to myself.